I love how hard that kick is hitting. I love beefy kicks. I love them so much. What is up, everybody? I am Legend, and welcome to the 4th episode of reacting to my subscribers' songs. But before I begin today's video, I just want to say that I am going to try and get through as many songs as I possibly can in this particular episode. So if it might be a little short review, I do apologize, but I'm trying to get to as many people as I can because I literally have hundreds of submissions. Let's get started. First one we have is Anto Music. I'll need a little advice for the next song, if that's okay with you. So let's listen to this first song, Broken Hearts by Anto.
Here we go again. My heart was starting to hear you. I'm so sick of this game.
So one thing that I noticed right off the bat is there's something going on with your microphone or your sound, how you recorded it. It feels like the vocal is coming more out of the left ear than the right ear. It doesn't feel equal.
Here we go again. My heart was starting to hear you.
It might be the microphone, depending on what quality the microphone is. And I can tell that the microphone is not the highest of qualities from the recording. It has a lot of background hissing noise, if you can hear.
I'm so sick of this game.
So one thing that I will recommend is you go and get this Waves NS1 noise suppressor, and that it'll basically take out a little bit of that hissing noise in the background if you have a microphone that does have that hiss in it. It's not going to take it all the way out. If you turn it up too much, it's going to distort your vocals and make it sound muffled. But you can use something like this to take out that hissing noise, and it's very simple to use. I don't know if there's a plugin in GarageBand that does this as well, but you can mess with the EQ and cut out that frequency if you can manage to find it. I would recommend getting a better microphone. That will definitely improve the audio coming right off the bat.
Left and right. Why did I feel for him this time you left?
So you're singing, I think the singing is a little bit rushed. It's coming too fast. There's a few ways to fix this. In one way, you can just take your vocals and slide it right just a little bit so that it is actually on beat or a little bit behind the beat. But right now they're coming in a little bit too early ahead of the beat. So it's kind of like you're singing before the beat gets a chance to hit, just a tiny bit. So I would recommend re-recording that part. Alternatively, you can, again, just slide the vocals. And another thing, I would put some auto-tune on this particular song. I would say for your voice, I don't know if you may have had lessons or not, but I would recommend that you maybe look into getting some professional lessons or some kind of lessons that you can find online on YouTube. There's one that I recommend everybody called Vocal Sensei by B Slade, which can be found right here. And then this will basically teach you how to harness your voice and make it better than it was previously. Everything from breathing patterns to how to sing and hold notes and just have a better tone in your voice. Just different techniques you can use to improve your singing. Until then, I would suggest you put a little bit of auto-tune on here so that you're getting right on those notes, because right now it's kind of, you're either coming a little bit too high on the note or coming too low on the note. So it's a lot of fluctuation and everything's not as sharp as it should be.
Left me, myself and I, without even telling me why.
Also, this goes back to what I was saying in previous videos. The delivery has to be on point. Right now it sounds a little bit more laid back, but I think you have to really pronounce the words because I can't too much understand what you're saying. Maybe that is from an accent that you have. I think it does need to be executed a little better. Oh, the mixing of the vocals. So right now it's kind of just dry. There's no effects on it and it's not sitting well with the beat. So I think it does need to be turned down a little bit, and just to kind of make it sit better with what the track is doing, how the track sounds, I would throw in like a reverb or a delay, kind of makes it flow better with the track. So that is my solution for pretty much every song that needs to sound better mixed. I mean, aside from adjusting the volumes and things, reverbs and delays can make something sit well in a mix, in my opinion. That's what I do often. So I think that's one thing. Also the beat, I don't know if you made the beat, but the kick is really loud. I think the kick needs to be turned down. Right now it's overpowering everything and it's kind of sitting alone by itself while everything else is doing what it's doing. I think the kick needs to be turned down. Right there, the roads were too high, so those keys right there, I understand you were trying to do a crescendo, but I think you do need to turn them down. Still have the crescendo in there, but they do need to be turned down because it sounds like it's near peaking. Like it's going into the red, and it was a little bit too loud. Thank you for the submission, Anto. And we're gonna go to the next song. So the next song is 9 the Dawn. Hey, big fan of your videos, and here is the SoundCloud link. So let's check this out. Oh, if you want to check out Anto, here's the song right here. 9 the Dawn, Infinity. Dang, 95,000 plays. What are you doing, Brody? Hey, hey. I like that loop already. Very melodic, very, it's got me in a headspace like I just want to vibe out right now. So that's dope if you made the beat. Yeah. I like the delays. It's very spacious. I like what you did here with the delays, matching with the very open reversed piano loop that's going on. It's got me thinking. It's like one of those tracks that makes you think, and it's very spacious, and I love that.
Hey, I never fold or settle. I'm on a whole nother level. I am a prophet. Niggas can't knock it, bitch can't cop it. I'm just making these bags. Big house made of glass. Hop on a whip and drag. Satan set slow.
So I do like the change up. I love how it completely changed up. I was not expecting that at all. That's one of my favorite things, is when people drop a track, drop the beat, and it just is completely different than what you were expecting. One thing that I will say is the bass is too loud. Once it does drop, I do feel the drop, I do feel the bass, I do feel the things hit, but I don't hear what's going on with the instrumentation. The bass is so loud that I can't enjoy the rest of the instruments in the
So you scared with your bitch ass. If I hear you, then that is a fee. Nobody give a damn about me.
The only thing that I can hear really is that, but everything else is being overpowered by that bass. Being overpowered by the bass.
I'm on a whole nother level. I am a prophet. Niggas can't knock it, bitch can't cop it. I'm just making these bags. Big house made of glass. Hop on a whip and drag. Satan set.
So yeah, definitely turn the bass down. Let everything else kind of shine through. I feel it would be more effective that way. I know you're trying to get that really hard hitting, like boom, but I just try it out and see how it sounds. I personally would prefer that. I mean, it still has to hit. You still want it to hit, so don't make it quiet. But the spaciousness of the beat has to be heard, and right now the bass is overpowering that.
Got trapped in your phone. This shit is not real. Judge yourself before flapping your braille. Shut up, listen, relax, and chill. Let me give you a deal.
Also, it's overpowering your voice. So like the bass is hitting, and then I can hear you're rapping, but it's hard to pay attention to what you're saying because the bass is hitting so hard. Turning the bass down will help me understand more of what you're saying and kind of get more into the lyrics, the lyrical content of the song. But also I do think that the voice will still have to be turned up a little bit.
Barter a ring, 50 bands a piece. Barter a bag, you ain't get it from me. Hush your mouth, so spill all the tea. All white on my feet, I'm ballin', I'm clean.
The vocals. Okay, you know how something sounds when you're talking on the phone. It's like somebody's voice coming through a phone. It's got that. You don't have obviously that effect on here, and I don't think you're going for that effect. It has a slight characteristic of that, and that's fine, but I think it's a little too much right now. I think it's unintentional. I don't think you were going for that. At some points I like it, and at some points I don't.
It's got these barter a bag, you ain't get it from me. Hush your mouth, so spill all the tea. All white on my feet, I'm ballin', I'm clean.
I would like to know what your settings are at. It's hard for me to tell, especially with everything else that's going on right now with the instrumentation and the beat and the bass. It's hard for me to really decipher how to fix the issue with the vocals. At least it's not an issue, but it's just what I think should be done. Maybe it's the microphone, but I do think it sounds too boxy and too broadcasty, like it's like you're broadcasting over a radio or something like that. It's too much in that realm. If I heard the vocals by themselves, I'd be able to tell you better. Right now it's kind of hard to tell with everything that's going on.
If I hear you, then that is a fee. Nobody put it down by me. Who care if I live and see this world to infinity?
Like it sounds too processed. That's what I'm going for. It sounds too processed. It sounds like you put a lot of effects on it, or a lot of EQ on the higher end, the treble, and maybe the mids, not the lows. It doesn't have enough bass, and some kind of effect, something that you put on there, compression or something. I don't know. It sounds too processed. Less is more sometimes. See what you can take out to make it sound less digital and more analog, more real. Really dope track. This is Nine the Dawn. If you guys want to check him out, and obviously check it out on Spotify. This song is called Infinity. 95,000 plays, man. Congratulations. That's pretty dope. David Contreras. I'm Latin. Ha ha ha. I can tell by Contreras. Pure Daco. And this is called Tu Piel. Tu Piel? Am I saying that right? Audio oficial. Oficial. Okay.
Todavía recuerdo la noche cuando lo hicimos en la cama por primera vez.
Last week we had some Jamaican. Before that we had some rapping and things like that. This week we got some Latin. Okay.
Por primera vez, yo no sé qué me hiciste. Con un hechizo me envolviste y ahora.
There's something going on with your vocals where it's like fading in and out whenever you start singing. I don't know exactly what that is.
Yo no sé qué me hiciste. Con un hechizo me envolviste.
It's like if you can hear.
Y ahora quiero una y otra vez, una y otra vez.
I don't know if that's the attack that you have on a compressor or if that's a vocal rider that's fluctuating. It'll be hard to tell you how to fix that without knowing what you put on there. If it's the vocal rider, make the sensitivity fast so that it reacts faster and it's not trying to catch up to your voice. If it's a compressor, you need to turn the attack up so that it doesn't take so long for the compression to start working once you start singing. Because right now it's got this weird fade in and out thing. So I don't know if you can hear it, but that's definitely something I would look into. The EQ or the microphone that you used has the vocals sounding like you're recording in a room, and this is also maybe a soundproofing thing. Maybe you need to record somewhere where it's more record worthy. It's almost like I can, unless it's an effect that you put it on here, like a echo or a reverb that you put on here, like a close echo. It almost sounds like I can hear that you're recording in a room and the sound's bouncing off the walls. Maybe there's not a carpet on the floor or curtains in the windows. It sounds like we're in a small room and you're not very isolated. In that case, I would say to record somewhere that is more isolated, or get a reflex filter. You can even get that chaotic eyeball thing that isolates, you sing into it and it keeps the vocals like kind of trapped in that ball. But alternatively, because I just record literally like this, I have no filter, but nothing's really bouncing or anything. So I would look into that because it does sound like there's a little bit of echo going on in your recording. On this part right here, to give it some variation. So in your songs, you want to tell a story, not just in what you're singing, like the lyrics, but how you sing it. And the way that I do this is stacking. I always tell people about this. So my verses, I usually do one voice. I rarely ever stack unless like there's something I want to emphasize. But the verse is like one lead vocal, and then once you get into the lean, which is the pre-chorus, and then the chorus itself or the hook, that's where I stack the vocals and I add 4 vocals on top of my one. So right here is where I would have done that stacking, the panned vocals right here. It's growth in the song. It's something different. It's interesting, and it keeps the listener engaged because it's not just the same monotone voice going on throughout the whole thing. It's like a new addition to what's going on in the track, and it's like, oh, okay, well, there's a change here. It's not just one person singing, it's more. There are times where that's not always the case, where you want to keep it simple and like it's like a bare bones track and it's just a guitar or acapella or something, and you just want it to be heartfelt or something like that, where you don't want to stack. But in this case, for this particular song, I would definitely do that because you need to tell a story in the audio as much as you're telling the story in the lyrical content. Either that, or you can like add background harmonies. So
Pero le fuiste infiel conmigo. Dime si en verdad quieres estar con él. No lo sé, yeah.
Like, I don't know, just like oohs, ahs, something like that gives it more than just one vocal. You're telling a story in every aspect of the song. The beat has to tell a story, the lyrics have to tell a story, and the vocals have to tell a story. If they don't all coincide with each other and work together to tell the story of whatever it is you're saying, because I don't understand. If they don't all work together, then your song is less effective, but your song becomes more effective when you get all of those pieces working together to tell the story of the songs. Thank you for the submission. So we got, thank you so much. Pop Lord, let's check you out, man. Let's see what you got. This song is called Bad Girl, like bad baby. Bad That's like how a sheep would say it. Bah. I think I heard this song before. I think you sent this to me before. Because I remember this.
Taking trips to another planet.
I like the beat. Wait, hold on. Nice harmonies. Very nice harmonies. And I like the panning that you did right there, where the ad-lib vocal came only through the left ear. I think that's very underrated. I think a lot more people should be exercising that sort of thing. But I love those harmonies. Very dope. There's definitely a lot of treble in the vocals. I would go and look into that and turn up a little bit more of the bass, as well as the mids. It could very well be your microphone, but again, as I said before, if you're recording with a lesser quality microphone, a USB microphone, a computer microphone, something like that, your headphone microphones, you want to compensate for whatever that microphone is lacking.
Hey, Dak, I'm turning shit up.
Hey. I do like the bass. I do like the beat. I think the bass is slightly too loud and too overpowering. I would turn it down a little bit. But I like how everything is kind of working together. And I like the lyrics as well. I love how hard that kick is hitting. I love beefy kicks. I love them so much. So one thing I'm noticing, you have a delay on here and it seems like it's turned up fairly high. I would turn it down a little bit because you want to hear the delay, obviously, but at the same time, you don't want it to be so loud that it sounds like you're just singing the part over again, like it's interfering with the next line. So if you couldn't tell, it's like it's still being heard way too loud. So you want to turn the mix down on the delay, turn the wetness down a little bit. The actual vocal is prominent and you can hear it well, but the delay is like in the background, but it's still listenable, like you can still hear it. This beat is smashing. Pop Lord, you can check him out right here. Bad Girl Season. Harry Malloy, I think that's how you say that. Let's check out what you got. Harry Malloy on SoundCloud. This is Louis M. Rise featuring Ugly Hamster. Is this like some Andy Milonakis type stuff over here?
Where am I?
I love that. I don't know what it is, but I love it. I feel like it's gonna hit hard.
Vision blocking out the fakes like I'm in a tunnel.
Yeah.
I ain't looking for it, but I'm with it if there's trouble.
Yeah.
Sipping on that activist, it got me seeing double. You flexing that fake ego, think I gotta pop your bubble. Couple shots.
Okay, so the vocals sound good, the delivery sounds good, the beat sound, everything is kind of vibing right now. The one thing that I will say, the vocals do sound a little bit dry, like it doesn't have that X factor effect wise, not your delivery, not anything about the lyrics or anything, but the sound. It sounds like it needs something like a Maserati VX1 or some kind of plug-in that's gonna give it like some edge, that's gonna give it some character.
The beacon out the fakes like I'm in a tunnel. I ain't looking for it, but I'm with it if there's trouble. Sipping on that activist, it got me
Give it a little bit of compression, a little bit more compression if you already have compression on there. Like make it punchy if you have the money or if you have the plug-in to try to put that Maserati VX1 on there. I think is a really dope tool to use. So I would recommend your track on a lesser scale.
All this shit I gotta deal with. You think that your boy could juggle, hunting for a little snack. Sometimes homeboy had to smuggle, always working.
Another thing I'm noticing, so your delivery is good, but I think you are trying to record everything in one voice, because I can hear like that what just happened is you're taking breaths in between phrases that shouldn't have breaths.
Go hunting for a little snack. Sometimes homeboy had to smuggle, always working.
I had to smuggle. Like, sorry. So what you want to do is when you're recording, don't try to fit it all in one go. I mean, you can try, but if it starts to mess with your breathing, you want to stop the recording, go to the next track down, and then start recording again. on a separate track. That way you don't have to like try and fit everything in one. It's like you're wait until the next part, like it sounds like it's all one voice, and that way your phrases, the lines that you're saying are not being cut off by your breaths, and it's more impactful that way when people can hear everything that you're saying without these gaping breaths in there and things like that. It really can change the delivery of the track, of the song, and it has that flow that it really needs to have. Louis M. Rise featuring Ugly Hamster. Here you go. Manu Bandari. I know I'm saying that wrong. Here's mine. Thank you for doing this. It has some parts in international language and the rap part in English. I use GarageBand. Follow some of your tips. I'm sure there are ways to improve. Let's see what you got, and then we'll finish it off with Hipster Pug. Nice guitar. Oh, that. And you're from Nepal. That's dope. Different switch up than what I thought it was gonna be. I think the guitar is just a little bit too loud. It's a little bit too strong. I would turn it down just a tiny bit, not too much, just a tiny bit. So I can't tell if this is an effect that you put on the vocal. It sounds maybe like a flanger, however you pronounce it. I never knew how to pronounce that word. A flange, where it's kind of like. If that is the case, I would turn that off. Because I can't hear your vocal. I can't really hear what you're saying. Even without the language barrier, I don't understand the words that you're forming. If it's the microphone, then definitely that is beyond your control unless you can buy a new microphone. I don't know. It sounds like it could be a combination of both. It sounds like both. It sounds like the microphone and an effect that is applied to the recording. So I would take that effect off, or at least turn it down so it's not so intense, so I can hear a little bit more of what you're saying. I like that. And that auto-tune is working. It's working, and I can tell that you actually said it the right way because your voice is not going all over the place. It's in the right key. Kudos.
If I say left and she says right, I wanna go home, but she's out all night. Spend my last dollar, yeah, she just might. But if I say something, she'll wanna fight. Expensive meals are just.
See, this sounds a little bit more clear, but I do think I still hear that effect. So I definitely think it's an effect, and I definitely do think it's also the microphone because it still sounds a little bit muffled. I do like the effect that it's giving the vocals. Just tone it down just a little bit. One thing that my camera's overheating. One thing that I always find is when I find an effect that I think is dope and I want to use it, oftentimes I have to tell myself whatever I think sounds good, turn it down a little bit more because oftentimes it's going to be a little bit too much. So I have to take it back a little bit from any amount that I say, oh, this is good. Okay, let me take it down 10 more steps. You know, if you guys want to check out Love and Inspire, this is Manu Bandari's SoundCloud right here, if I'm saying that right, and I will not even try to pronounce this. Nepali Naniko Nakali Bani featuring Uncle Lars. There you go. You guys can check that out. Multiverse by Hipster Pug. I like that. I like the title. I like the art, and I can tell it's inspired by Stranger Things because it's got that same. Here we go. Inspired by Stranger Things. I love this kind of stuff. Like, I love these kinds of very like soundscapey songs, tracks. They really get me thinking. They really get me inspired. And that is how I wrote Philippe, my song Philippe, because I was just listening to things like this and it just inspires creativity for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm weird, but just listening to this stuff on repeat, I get in a zone. So I love it so far. One thing that I will say, and this would be more fit for somebody who does a lot of sound design and synth modular work like Andrew Huang, because I'm not a professional at that kind of music production, but I will say that it does feel like the majority of the track is muffled. I would have thought by now it would have opened up a bit more, because right now it's still kind of got that low pass. I would have wanted it to kind of open up a little bit more and have like a more open feel to it, more treble, more you I think you get what I'm saying, but right now it sounds like it's still caught up in here. Maybe it changes. It's a little bit. It could be maybe the program you're using or the sounds you're using, but I definitely think that this song, it needs to have a point where it opens up. It needs a climax. Again, going back to telling the story, you want to have a climax in the instrumental, even if it's a smaller climax. And you know, you've listened to the Stranger Things. It's kind of, as the song goes on, you see how it opened up already, and it's big. So, you know, things like that, or like it's still closed off, but it starts to open up a little bit more. So opening, and then back closed. So that's something that I would suggest that you look into as far as this type of music goes. Give it a climax, give it some growth, give it a story. Let the music tell a story. So you don't have to go big, you don't have to add drums, you don't have to go crazy and just add a bunch of stuff, but even a filter can tell that story. So go from that closed off feel that you have here, and then maybe later on, like, I'm thinking about Hans Zimmer, I'm thinking about M83, I'm thinking about Stranger Things. These are all examples of people that do it very well, especially with these synthy type things. Thank you guys for submitting as always. I won't be able to get to everybody, but like not on video, but I'm thinking of a way to get back to you guys, at least personally. But as always, stay legendary. I appreciate you, and let's end this on Hipster Pug.